Okay, so this is Inkscape for Cricut cutting, part 2. um, Going back to just, we have the outline here. This is just what we want to have cut. If you wanted to include all the lines that you'd be drawing on the fabric first, we're just going to do it the exact same way with the Bezier curves. But this time I'm just going to go through and create just a little V. I don't want to make the full shape, so again I'm going to just hit enter and it ends just where it is. So now I've got this little guy here. While it's still selected, while there's this box around it, I can come down to my colors, and there's nice blue. I can shift click, and I'm going to turn it a light blue. There we go, shift click to turn it light blue. Then I can go, and I'm still in my Bezier tool, so I can come and follow maybe the lines here. And this one I am going to complete, so I'm going to click my little square. It is still blue, whatever the last thing you did was, it'll keep that color for the next one. I think there's a setting that you can turn that on and off. Mine's turned on. If yours is for some reason just coming out black, as long as it has that box around it, that is the item that you are currently changing. So then you can just go in and turn it blue. Then I'm going to come in to my edit tool and I'm going to just click and drag these little guys to where they have to be. Right about there. I can also come in and do the little nap arrow and again press enter, and I'm going to do stretch and again press enter when I'm done, and then I can do my little tiny circle. For the circle I'm just going to put 4 little dots and I'm going to connect it so it's all done, and then I'm going to come into my node edit tool. And now I've got all 4 of them, so I'm going to just click and drag. I've got all 4, now they're all highlighted, and it does say down at the bottom 4 of 4 nodes selected. So I've got all 4 of them changing. And I'm going to just make them all the auto smooth nodes. So it kind of turns it into a circle for me so that I don't have to actually try and draw a circle myself. So there we go. I'm not going to do the little mouth bit there just because that's a little bit more complicated than I want to do in the short video. The big thing to remember is if you are drawing something like this, you need to draw the edges of the line. If I were to do something like this, I've got that shape, I could come into my fill and stroke. That is, again, this little guy here, shift control F to get to it. I could come into the stroke style and I could make it extra fat, just so that it kind of fills that in. But Cricut is going to treat this as a very, very thin little line, like very, very thin. So even though you've made it like chunky and fat in Inkscape, Cricut is only seeing the actual vector line itself, not the style that we put on it, not how fat we've made that line. So I'm going to just delete this little guy, and I just delete key. Go away. Nope. Oh, okay. My bad. You have to have the box with the little select the at guy, and then I can hit delete. Whoop. There we go. Being weird there, but it's gone. Okay, so once you have all of your lines, I'm going to zoom out a little bit just to give myself working space around it. You can come in to your select tool, that S, and you can click and drag a box around everything. It has little boxes around every object that we have in here, meaning that we have selected all of them. If I again click on them, you can see they're all there, and then I can rotate them. So I can turn it around and actually get the nap line going up and down straight there. The other thing that I can do right now is I can group them all together. That is just Control G, or it's this little guy up here. It's got the triangle, or is it square? Square and circle in the little box there. If you select that, now they're just being treated as one full object, so everything in there. And down at the bottom it does say now that it's a group of 6 objects. So it's still being treated as one, although they're all still separated. So you can come here and Shift Control Z, or G, sorry, will ungroup them back into the little components that they used to be. When you are moving them around this way, when you rotate them, they all travel together. You do have the other options to rotate up here. These two buttons will rotate 90 degrees, but they'll rotate 90 degrees around the center of everything. So, well, actually, I'll just click it and show you that it's not going to rotate the same way. Everything just kind of rotates around its own midpoint. So it's not going to end up with a nice picture. If you group them all together, that Control G, so now they're all together, then when you rotate it, they actually rotate as one object there, so you can move them around that way. There you go. So just make sure that when you are creating all of your lines, whatever you want to be cut needs to be in like black or whatever color you pick, and then everything that you want drawn has got to be in a different color. That way, when you go into Cricut Design Space, you'll hit the import button and then open a SVG file, and it should bring them all in. Each one of these little pieces is going to be its own separate thing. So you'll have like 6 objects on the list on the side of Design Space. And then you can just change all of them, like select all the black ones and turn them all into cut lines, and select all the blue ones and turn them into draw lines. Because of the way the cut items then have like a solid fill on them in Design Space, sometimes it gets a little bit hard to see what's underneath the cut pieces. So if you just have 2 very distinct colors that are easy enough to see, you can just go through that little list without worrying about like what you're looking at on the screen, and just change by color. Like everything blue becomes the draw, everything black becomes the cut, and it doesn't matter what order they're in, what's on top of the other.